How's it going?
Hey!
Welcome to Let's Talk About Star Wars, a show where everything's made up and the points that matter, and I did not have a joke for this. The points are like, we were just talking about Obi-Wan, so I just want to say, the points are like calling that bald guy the Grand Inquisitor. Doesn't matter. Doesn't. All right, sure, the Grand Inquisitor. Why not? Yeah, Whizzle Wazzle. None of them matter.
Yeah.
Anyways, I want to talk about Kenobi. That doesn't mean I dislike it. That's not what we're here to talk about. Every other Star Wars podcaster and their moms are talking about Kenobi right now, and I'm sure we will later this weekend on other channels and other people's channels. So
yeah,
we don't need to do it here. And this guy is really excited. Yay!
Woo!
Yeah! Woo! I like that energy. How are you doing? We just had our couple week break where we haven't had a show for a bit. How are you doing?
Oh my gosh, I am so exhausted. I have been working wall to wall, so I am excited to be talking about some Star Wars instead of doing work.
I am exactly the same boat. I've been working a lot, and I actually have a 3-day weekend because of Memorial Day, and I can't wait. And I get to hang out with the family, and my wife has days off at the same time I do. It's nice. Something, whoa, it never happened.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, and I can't wait. So that's all I got. That's I just got off work. I've been getting off work at 3:30 p.m. instead of 8 o'clock, and I've been getting to ride my bike home in the sun, and it's been amazing. I have been getting 14 miles on my bike a day just working back, and it's almost like actual biking.
Yeah.
But I have to go through town. It's a horrible route to go to my work. I wish I worked in a out of town or near a bike path, so I'd have to just cut through town on my bike.
That would be me trying to go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight
through downtown.
Yeah. I have to go kind of near downtown. I have to cut it a little bit, but it's mostly transversing a lot of residential areas and industrial areas, and no bike paths at all, and a lot of sharing residential roads, which is usually fine. Usually residential roads are fine, but yeah, very few bike lanes and bike paths. But anyways, welcome to Let's Talk About Biking. Sure, where everything's made up. All right, so let's talk about Star Wars. This show, I really love this idea, is that we get to just discuss and just rant and teach each other about other characters. So we both chose 5 each, so there's going to be 10. And our rules were, it could be Legends, could be canon, could be in a lot of stuff, could be in not a lot of stuff. It doesn't matter. You got to like the characters, which I like all of mine. Well, I chose a lot of evil people. I don't like them, but their concepts are fantastic. And the other thing was, they're not ever in the extreme limelight. They've never been really featured in a television show or a movie or anything like that. And so that's kind of it. I broke it a little bit, and we'll get to that when we get to the character, that I kind of broke the rule a little bit, but yeah, because I have Chewbacca in here. He's a lesser known character, right? I'm kidding. I don't actually have a Wookiee.
Chewbacca would be a big rule break.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first? I'm down either way.
I can go first.
All right, go first.
Okay. So first, I would like to talk about Jordana Sparkburn.
Ooh, I like the last name, Sparkburn.
Her whole name, and I don't know whether to say Jordana or Jordanna, because she is only in this one book. So She is in Out of the Shadows by Justina Ireland, which is a High Republic young adult novel. And she is the deputy of Taika and is beholden to duty. So instead of going off into the stars with her love, Sylvester Yarrow, she stays behind and continues being a deputy. Until the Nile, the bad guys, make it impossible for her to stay.
Wait, so the bad guys in High Republic are called the Nile?
Yes.
Like Darth Nile?
Nihil.
Okay, little off. All right. I wanted to say this is not a character we will be having. Chewbuffa is the nickname for Black Chrysanthemum. He has now been in a television show. If Black Chrysanthemum was not in Boba Fett, I probably would have him on this list. I want you to know that at least. So, all right. So tell me about this lovely lady. So she was a deputy on I love the name Sparkburn.
Yeah. So kind of like a backwater sort of planet.
Okay.
And she's actually a member of the Santeca family.
Okay. Like Lord
Santeca.
Like Lord Santeca. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So she so, you know, she was taking care of the vassals of the Santeca clan by being the deputy on that planet. And she has a pet Volca, a big hunting cat named
cool.
Remy, that just kind of, you know, walks around with her everywhere and is really defensive for her, and is a really awesome additional sort of character. And she always has a blaster at her side, and she shoots first and asks questions later.
Wow, sounds like Han's kind of girl.
Yeah. And at one point, she is with some Jedi, and she lets loose on the Nile. She's just like, like, I'm not going to deal with this. And the Jedi are like, whoa. They're like, you really need to calm down. So she is pretty intense.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And like I said, she is passionately in love with Sylvester Yarrow, who is the character on the book cover in the middle.
Okay.
And she's super awesome too. But Jordana Sparkburn is my fave. And the only picture we have of her is this concept art on the right-hand side.
Dang, novel characters.
I know, right? Goodness.
I have like nothing but comic book characters. So I got a video game character too. But mostly nothing but comic books. I'm such a visual guy. Like, I remember when all the, like, right when Aftermath came out and they were doing all these, like, novels, and I was like, I'm so excited for somebody to tell me how good they are. Like, I don't want to read all those words. What are we doing? Show me some pictures.
Yeah.
And I read all the comics when they were coming out. So I was reading all the comics, and a friend of mine was reading all the books. And I'm like, all right, this is why the Lando comic is amazing. He's like, cool, this is why Aftermath is awesome. So we would like, yeah.
That works.
And then I think it was Dark Disciple, the Quinlan Vos book. I think after that came out, since he was a big fan of Quinlan Voss's legend story, and Dark Disciple just like kind of told it, but kind of didn't, and very like PG-13'd it. He stopped reading the books after Dark Disciple. He really disliked it. Aww. And that was it. That was the end of my hard line into the books.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But
I mean, if I'm perfectly honest, Dark Disciple was probably my least favorite of the books that have come out.
I've heard that a lot, yeah. And that's even without a giant tie to Asajj Ventress from the Legends and Quinlan from the Legends. I don't know. I don't know if you have any tie to those characters.
I
can't.
don't from Legends. I only read like certain Legends books because I was starting to get into them just as
like right when the Disney takeover happened.
Yeah.
When it stopped being extended universe.
Yeah.
It became Legends. But no, she sounds really cool. And here I want to talk about the phenomenon of comic book characters and book characters. You never hear anyone say their names. Like that's always like this big thing. Like, is it Jordana? Are you sure Jordana Sparkburn? Because I remember there's so many comic book characters where I say in one way and then like my best friend says them completely different. I'm like, huh?
Exactly.
Because we have never heard how they're said, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Game of Thrones is huge on that. You'll have 5 fans say a main character 5 different ways. Like, yeah.
Like, even on the video I did of her, I said Jordana and Jordana in the same video. I was like, I don't know how I want to say this word.
All right. Anything else you want to say about her? She sounds really cool, and I like the idea of, like, really, like, badass, non-force using people. Like, that's... Not that I have any non-force users. I left that up to you. I'm a lightsaber guy. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
And every one of these characters has an awesome lightsaber. But yeah, I just love that, you know, you don't need a lightsaber and you don't need the force to just totally be awesome. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I do have one quote that I wanted to share. The master of the Taika Jedi Temple. So during the High Republic, like all these different planets had Jedi temples. And so Master Oprand said, she is headstrong and has an uncanny knack with animals. But she has a penchant for violence that I find disturbing.
Disturbing.
Yeah.
She's really lovely with her dog. I wouldn't trust her babysitting, though. She's a violent person.
Exactly. So,
God.
Yeah. And she has all sorts of weird emotional relationships with the Jedi of the time. Like how they're dealing with the Nile and whether they're putting their all into it or not.
So the Nile,
are they backing up too much, or are they actually going after them?
Yeah, so. Well, because Jedi are supposed to protect everybody, but also be passive. It's really weird. Their philosophy is very odd. It's like, yeah. And then I do love it. Like they have this passive nature, and they have a weapon that only kills. Like they have to cut limbs off. Like they're like, something's getting cut. All right, I'm cutting through something.
Yeah.
But we're pacifists, so just a leg.
Right.
Yeah, it's not really the weapon of a pacifist monk.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, exactly. That's the half steps, half measures. Only Sith deal in absolutes. Yeah, Sith get stuff done though. I didn't read this yet. Can't hang out long. Oh, yeah. Watch Stranger Things 4. Avoid them spoilers. But yeah, Seamus, huge friend of the channel. Love me some Seamus. But yeah, do you want me to jump out of character?
Sure.
All right. I have no clue if I should start big or small. So I got 2 that won't have a lot. I'm gonna go completely different, opposite from you. Okay. So first I'm gonna look at Sith still in progress. Only Sith get stuff done. It's weird because Jedi will have the same temple for 3,000 years, and then if a Sith is alive for one lifetime, they build empires. They get shit done. That's
very, very true.
Yeah. So speaking of Sith, I have one of my favorite Sith, Darth Indedu. So Darth Indedu, I don't have a lot of these mentioned only characters except for him, because I wouldn't really be able to talk about him if I didn't show you all the books he's just mentioned in, because he actually only has one flesh and blood appearance in all the books and comics. So he's first mentioned in I want to say it says it, Republic 63, which was a Quinlan Vos novel or a comic book, and he's just mentioned as like an ancient Sith. And then later on, when the Darth Bane books and Darth Plagueis books start getting made, they have to go back and start talking about this ancient Sith, Darth Indedu, who was the pioneering of living forever in essence transferring. So transferring your life. Sorry, the text is so tiny. Transferring your life onto other people. So he kind of invented that thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago to live forever. So all these Sith constantly in the Darth Bane books and Darth Plagueis books talk about, Darth Indedu, because especially Bane really wanted to transfer his life onto Darth Zana's. Like, his essence transfer was something he was doing in his final fight with his apprentice, because, who doesn't want to be a hot 20-something chick? Everyone does. Darth Bane's like, dude, I've been keeping you fit because I want that body. But I mean, that's how I interpret it. He didn't get some uggo dude.
Yeah.
But anyways, so here's when it gets interesting. So in Legacy, which is one of my favorite comic book runs, which is the Cade Skywalker run. I know I've talked to you about it, Marie. I love that era. I love the Legacy era. Is when Darth Krayt starts talking to all these Sith in holocrons, and they all badmouth him because he's the Order of the One Sith, and he's bastardizing the Sith, and they hate how he's taken their philosophies. And Darth Indedu is just one of the ones who just complete talks crap to him through these holocrons. And the one Legacy comic, 27, where he's not mentioned he's in it, is because Darth Warlock, who wants the power to kill his master Darth Krayt, goes to his planet, Prakith, I think was the name of Darth Indedu's planet. If I pulled that out of thin air, I am awesome. Goes to his planet and goes into this beautiful tomb and fights like these weird cultists, and just takes on Darth Indedu, who then has been sleeping for thousands of years, comes up, and Darth Warlock just kills him to get something from him, and then takes on his master, Darth Krayt, right afterwards. So that's his only flesh and blood, is even though he's a character from like 5,000 BBY, his only appearance is in 200 ABY after the Battle of Yavin. That's how long this dude lived, and then just got killed by just some random Sith wannabe.
Wow.
But yeah, that's Darth Indedu. I love he has this. He's the first Sith in Legends, continuity wise, who's ever been called Darth. And he's just like this Sith philosopher, one to live forever. And it is Prakith. Thank you. Seamus knows, because I ran a role playing game where we were they were Darth Indedu's apprentices. So
nice.
That's a game that we ran. So it took place on Prakith, and they were 5 Jedi who are falling to the dark side that he wants to have them take over. And yeah, anyways, that's how he knew it, because I love Indedu.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
he looks creepy. That dude looks real creepy.
Yeah, it's weird mummified stuff going on, and yeah. Oh, I keep playing this. I have a thing that's in my way, and I can't get rid of his.
Oh no!
Sorry, my computer's acting funky today. There you go. Yeah, no, he is totally spooky, and no, we didn't fight as Force Ghost. We fought him. So you know, I don't know, to answer this question. I don't know if Indedu's a human, because I don't know if this is his body, because he has mastered essence transfer. So as far as we know, that's his 10,000th body. You know, we don't know. He's been alive for 5,000 plus years. You know, like it's one of like a body that's just been sitting there all mummified and rotting, and he can somehow make it live. Like that ancient Sith magic is just some creepy stuff. So
yeah.
Is that far enough from the character that you talked about? She just this badass chick who wants to help her friends and fight these guys, and I'm like, well, I got an evil, something so evil it can't die.
He almost looks skeletal in that picture on the right.
I love it. Yeah. Well, that's so the one picture, the blue one, is him in the holocron, like talking crap, and then the other one's like his actual body. I just love that. I love his aesthetic and that hat. You know, like it's this very like Egyptian aesthetic. It's so different for Star Wars. I love it. Yeah. Agreed. He's also in a pyramid because Sith love pyramids. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
Sorry, legend Siths. Apparently canon Sith are more into Colosseums. they went the Roman route.
Oh my goodness!
Sorry, did I exegol? I exegoled. I'm sorry.
I exegoled.
I exegolded. I'm sorry. I shouldn't.
Well, the Wayfinder is
it's a Sith holocron, right?
Sort of.
Okay.
It's like pyramidal.
Yeah. Well, because Sith holocrons always were.
Yeah.
Way simpler because like Jedi holocrons are like hexagons and 20-sided dice and 12-sided. The Sith are really into D&D and Jedi are all about all the sides, and Siths are like, here, it's a triangle, figure it out. But
straightforward.
Yeah. There you go. That was my Darth Indedu. That was my guy.
I dig it. Okay. I am going to talk about, and this guy was in Legends, but now he is in canon. And what?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was listening to you.
So
the former Legends guy. He's a traitor.
Oh, I forgot to put the name on that one. Okay, so Beilert Valance. So, cyborg bounty hunter dude, but he actually has a heart of gold.
I love his look.
I love this character so much. So, he shows up first in Imperial Cadet, Han Solo Imperial Cadet, where he is in the same squad as Han Solo. And he's all haughty and like, I'm the best, and Han, you suck, and like, really just not a guy you would want to be around. But whenever he's in trouble, Han swoops in to help him out. And it like, Han is actually a pretty great guy, but we all knew that. But then he shows up again in Target Vader, which is, so Imperial Cadet was a 5-issue series, I think. And Target Vader was a 6-issue series. And in Target Vader, he and a bunch of other bounty hunters are hired by the Hidden Hand to go and kill Vader. Well, I mean, clearly that didn't work out. That didn't work out. And then he gets his own comic book series, essentially, in Bounty Hunters, which is ongoing now, and he's no longer in it.
Shots.
I know. Now he is in the Darth Vader ongoing series.
Ooh.
So
is it still the same volumes as the original Darth Vader ongoing? Like what
this
issues
is the third Darth Vader series.
Okay.
Yeah.
I read I think all of the first one. But yeah. Was it the first one was between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. Mm-hmm.
And the second one was between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope.
Okay.
And the third one, the current one, is between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
I just remember that early stuff. I mean, I only read the first couple years of the comics. And it has nothing to do with them. I just kind of fell out of comics entirely, and it was after I got married and we just started spending money on other stuff. And
Right.
then also COVID happened. But even before then, but I do remember like the Vader down stuff. Vader and just how it was like kind of all interacting with the mainline Star Wars comic, and it was a really cool time to read those because you had like two or three, and I think Vader Down that's the name of that one, right? When he crash lands.
Yeah, on Krogus Voss.
Yeah, that's a freaking awesome book. That like I want to go back and reread that because I remember that just all the hype. That was like some really awesome stuff going on.
Yeah.
And I think is that the one where Black Chrysanthemum rips C-3PO's arms off? I think that's
yes, it is. It is.
Chewbacca, bruh. He's like, I wasn't even playing chess with you. Why are you ripping my arms off? I would let you win. What are you doing?
So yeah, right now the comics are doing the same thing. So you've got the Star Wars mainline, Dr. Aphra, Bounty Hunters, and Darth Vader, along with the all ongoing, and then you have the miniseries Crimson Reign. So they're all 5 together, cool, in the same like sort of storyline.
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
So in Bounty Hunters, he ends up let me go to this one. Nope, this one. Sorry. Okay, so Imperial Cadet to Bounty Hunter to he does end up working for Vader. Not because he wants to, though. So when he is a bounty hunter, he is caring for a young girl named Cadelia, who is the heir to 2 different criminal syndicates.
Dang.
And she's kind of, no one knows she's alive. So it's like this secret that he's trying to protect until she gets old enough to take over. And he's caring for her and eventually leaves her with an old flame and some rebels. And he even ends up working with the rebels some. And because he has a soft spot for Han and knows that Han is working for the rebels, because Han did save him when this happened. Oof. So he had a grave accident when he was a cadet. He was of course, Han was a pilot originally at Krita Academy. So originally Valance was a pilot as well. And then he ended up getting seriously injured, as you can see in these photos. And so he got demoted to infantry. And when he was in the infantry, he got hurt again. And so eventually they did fix him up and they gave him some parts, but then they said, bye.
Oh.
And so he was like, what? Like, I have given my all, literally, to the Empire. I loved the Empire. I supported it. I fought for you guys.
They booted him because he ran up his deductible too much in cybernetics, and they were like, dude, come on. We can't keep spending money on you. Stop blowing yourself up. What are you thinking?
Yeah. So, so he got kicked out, and that's when he became a bounty hunter. And then, like I said, now he is all fixed up. On the right-hand side of this, you can see that he looks perfectly human now. So cool. On the left-hand side, he's got some of that half face, that's all cyborg-ish. And then he has where he can shoot out of his hands. And then Vader fixes him up and says, okay, now you work for me. And jeez. I have to say, and that's why he's in the Vader comic now instead of the Bounty Hunter comic. Cadelia is still there, but there's a whole different group of bounty hunters that are protecting her now.
I feel like
trying
that's
to protect her now.
getting promotions, right? Like you're getting up to the major leagues when you start just being in Vader's main comic. You know, like I just like, all right, we got a little mini series. We got a Han Solo cadet. Okay, I'll be in the back, and then he's like really awesome. They're like, all right, maybe we'll toss you into the bounty hunter series we're gonna work on. All right, this guy's pretty good. Let's put him in the major leagues.
Yeah,
put him in Vader.
And some of the best interactions in the Vader series currently are between Valance and Ochi of Bestoon. Like, it is hysterical because they hate each other. And they're just like, and I don't know if I've said this before to you, but Ochi is the funniest dang character ever.
No, you have not.
And he is just ridiculous. So it's really cool to watch them interact because Valance is just like, you're a moron. Like, it's pretty great.
That's pretty good. I get a lot of, not to go like all Marvel on you, but I get a lot of like Cable vibes from him. Like, I don't know, just me. He's a kind of burly dude, and he's got the half metal face, but also his kind of like moving allegiances, but he still has a heart of gold. Like, yeah, I like it. No, he's an awesome character. I'm glad you were telling me about him because I don't know anything about him. I saw the picture of him just like all cyborged up. And I thought he was, because isn't there like a mostly cyborg dude in Aftermath too, that like everyone talked about? I thought there was like some guy who's like half blown up and he's like kind of like a villain, but I might be I'm like saying stuff I learned 10 years ago.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Nah, I just kind of thought it was that character, but no, it's a completely different person. Yeah, it's all good. All right. Should I throw another person out?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Let's go with, I don't know. I really want to talk about her, so I'm gonna do it. Now this is a character who I just wanted to show what she was from, and she had so many just mentions that I got rid of all of her mentions. So she has way more. She's been in way more stuff, like way more than anybody, but yeah, so I had to get rid of some. I had to shave it. But we got the Dark Lady Lumiya, who is awesome character. Of course, right now I can't pull what her real name is. There might be some ultra nerd who can do it. My phone's not on me right now. So Dark Lady Lumiya. So she starts back in the original Star Wars comic book from 1977. So even if she didn't come out in 77, that's when the comic book started. So really, really, really early on. And her first appearance was in 56. So she starts off as an Imperial like special forces person who kind of gets works her way up in the Empire. And then they put her, Vader specifically, like plucks her out and then makes her be a double agent in the Rebels and in the Rebellion, and then she meets Luke, and of course nobody knows why at this point, but Vader's like, dude, kill Luke. Like, guy kills womp rats, he's crazy, get rid of him. And so of course she falls in love with Luke, and then she gets in a horrible accident that she blames on Luke. And that's why now she's all super cybernetic up and is completely destroyed. And she's just like Vader on the amount that she is cybernetic. Like, she's extremely cyberized. And that's why she looks the way she does and covers up her face a lot. So then she becomes the Dark Lady Lumiya. And I had to have this picture, the one up on top, that shows her amazing light whip, which is 3 different streams of lightsaber with all these different other cables and like lightsaber resistant ribbon and all this stuff. And she just fights with this amazing, insane weapon. So she lasts forever. So even when you go like Heir to the Jedi stuff and even past that, she starts training Darth or Jason Solo. So kind of like before Ben Solo, there was Jason Solo. You know, like Darth Caedus is Kylo Ren 1.0. So she is his trainer, and it kind of keeps going on with the rule of 2 of him as her apprentice. And also, so she was Vader's hand. She was Emperor's hand at the same time that Mara Jade Skywalker was. So she's just been around forever, and then lasts all the way to like the second Civil War with Darth Caedus turning evil and fighting his sister. And so she's just like this really just pit of evil that kind of just like stuck on everyone's shoe for a very long time, and no one could take her out, and she just kept causing issues for 40 years, like forever. And that's a long time to make it as a Star Wars character. Even Chewbacca got killed by a moon in Legends.
True.
Don't forget about that. But I just love Dark Lady Lumiya. I think she is just so terrifying. I love her weapon and her fighting style. And I love that she just like wouldn't stop forever of like, no, I'm going to be Vader's apprentice. Fine, I'll be the Emperor's apprentice. Oh, they're both dead? Okay, fine. I'm going to take one of the Skywalker nephews and turn him evil. Like she just doesn't quit. And because of her, here's a weird tangent. She's why Luke during this time, like Grandmaster Luke, would carry 2 lightsabers, because the only way you could fight that was with he carried a Shoto on the side so he could attack as he's like trying to, get his lightsaber untangled by that insane whip that she has. But anyways,
that thing is crazy.
I love it. It is devastating. It makes her be able to punch so above her weight class.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you just brought a lightsaber, huh? I don't care how good you are at it. Yeah, I love it. But yeah, that's Dark Lady Lumiya.
Nice.
Yeah. Not as wholesome. I've not had one wholesome character. I have 2 good guys out of my 3 left. So we'll get to them eventually. I feel like you've been saying too many like, oh, Heart of Gold, huh? Fine, I got one for you.
Well, my next one is he kind of has like
a Heart of Gold?
2 sides to him.
Okay.
So I'll explain.
All right.
So Cinderroth Velus.
All right.
He is one of my number 1 favorite Star Wars characters of all time.
See, there's the Aftermath. I knew there was going to be some.
He's in all 3 Aftermath books. There is no picture of the man. So
you can't find anything? So you just showed the books?
That's all I got. So
he is somewhere inside these pages.
So he was a former Imperial loyalty officer. Now, if you are a former Imperial loyalty officer, you were a bad dude at one time.
Yeah.
Like a real bad dude.
That's like the difference between if you're a Nazi and if you're part of the SS. Like, no, you got to buy into it if you're part of the SS.
Yeah. Like, he was going after his own people. So, that's, that, and he knew how to get at not just physical pain, but emotional pain.
Oh,
and wow. He defected at the Battle of Endor.
He picked a really good time.
Yeah, true.
How many people are flying down the shaft that blows up the Death Star? Is there an escape pod? Has nothing to do with what's going on. It was a prior engagement, guys. Prior engagement. I just love Mon Calamari, so I'm going to go see what's up.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to see what's up.
just going to go talk to him.
Yeah.
Tell him to stop.
So he ends up working with the New Republic. And what do you think they get him to do?
Probably be an evil bastard for the New Republic.
Do all their dirty work.
Yeah, that makes sense. Governments. Am I right?
Yeah. So he is doing things, and eventually, like, it really starts affecting him, where he's like, I'm doing all these bad things, and I'm a bad person, and like he ends up breaking up with his boyfriend because Condor Kyle, who's a very talented slicer, he ends up breaking up with him because he's like, I'm a bad guy and you're a good guy and you don't need to be with me because I'm not worth it. And oh my God, talk about heartbreaking. Like, their whole story, I was just like boo-hooing the whole time. But they end up getting married in the end, so it's fine.
Oh, whatever.
It's all good. But a couple of wonderful quotes from this guy. I'm a sassy bastard. It is my nature. And he also said, I'm no drunker than a pickle. I brine myself in order to maintain a low level of fuzziness.
It's pretty good.
So he had some wonderful dialogue. So many of his quotes were just so good. And he's humorous, he's complicated, he has a dark background but wants to do better, and I just adore him. He sounds like made Aftermath for me.
He sounds like an awesome character. If there is ever a very free and easy to listen to Aftermath audiobook, I will let you know what I think. Because I will listen to it eventually.
I loved the trilogy. I thought it was great.
I love the sassy bastard line.
Yeah.
Reminds me of like David from Schitt's Creek. Like that's after you said sassy bastard, I'm now thinking of like Daniel Levy playing him. It's like all that was in my head after that. But no, that's pretty good. That was a good one.
Yeah.
And I love the picture you found of him too.
I know, isn't it great? It's so detailed.
Yeah. Not one guy on a DeviantArt has won the Drime. Like, what the heck?
I mean, maybe they did. I'm not sure, but there's no like
actual
picture. Yeah.
Well, I feel like I need to talk about at least one good guy before everyone thinks that all I had for Sith. So are you good? You got anything else about the guy who looks like 3 books?
So I just a couple more things real quick. Okay. So he is, when he's trying to deal with the fact that the New Republic is getting him to do bad things, it says, what he does not say is, I killed a man because he upset my friends. So he's talking about how he's a bad person, and he's like, I killed a man, but he didn't expand on that and say, I killed a man because he upset my friends. But that, which only confirms for him what he's long suspected and irresponsibly denied. Sinjir is not a good person. He is a bad man with a talent for bad things. And then later he says, I am a moral weather vane spinning in this hurricane.
Oh, wow.
So he's like just, that line. Yeah, he's like all sorts of confused and conflicted in his head. Well, he's a really deep, complicated character.
Not to always go back to World War II, but we are talking about Star Wars. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Star Wars is a giant allegory for World War II. But for people who haven't seen Revenge of the Sith, but just saying, but that whole idea of like, oh, the Germans were making me build bombs and I want to leave to go to America. And the first thing Americans are like, well, we also need some bombs. Exactly. And that's kind of like what that makes me think of like, I'm tired of being evil. And they're like, I'm glad you came over here. Can you torture some people for us?
Yes, it's exactly the same.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
I like that, though, as a character. That sounds really interesting. All right, so I got a guy with a light stick that he kills people with. And I got another one of those. That's all I got. You're like, listen to these really well thought of characters. I'm like, this guy has a lightsaber, and it's amazing. That's all I have. But all right, do you want to hear about one more of my guys?
Yeah.
I'll do a light side person. Let's go with, I'll save him for last. I like him too much. Let's talk about my rule break. So this character was featured in a television show, but it was the Clone Wars 2D animated, Clone Wars micro series, and he is part of the giant General Grievous fight. And I love this character. He's very, very awesome, and I'll get into it. He is Kruhk. Yeah. Nice. Could you tell me the race of Kruhk?
Oh, God.
You got it? Star Wars race?
No.
He's a whipped.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
They're giant, weird, freaking tusk face thing.
Yes.
I love Kruhk. So, as you can see, in a bunch of stuff, and I actually got rid of some of it. And the reason why he was in a bunch of stuff is his life is extremely long. So, as I said earlier, he was in Clone Wars micro series where he fights Grievous, and the first time the world has ever saw Grievous, in that amazing fight where all the Jedi are hiding in the rocks and he's like fighting around them. So he started in the Clone Wars and fought his way all the way through the Clone Wars, survived the Purge, like stayed hidden forever, made this tiny little Jedi like commune, met Luke, joined Luke's order, left the order to make his own, and then it makes it all the way to Legacy. So if you look at the further comic, column, it's nothing but Legacy. He makes it all the way to 200 and something after the Battle of Yavin. Dude lives for a very long time, and he's actually becomes Jedi Grand Master way later on in his life, mostly because there's another purge during Legacy, so not a lot of Jedi are left, but he's great because he almost makes me think of a Yoda, but brute strength, like a giant, gentle teacher, very long-lived, very into, like the peaceful defensive nature of the Force, like Yoda, but he's a beast. He's just this monster, and I just love that, and I love his look, and I think Kruhk is a really cool character, and that's and I needed to have a non-human. I needed a whipped. But,
yes.
Yeah. So there's Kruhk. Were you aware at all of this character's existence?
No, I was not.
Okay, let's see how many things he was in. All right.
I know, right? I'm like, dang.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of those legacy characters because they added so many books and so many comics, and yeah, but yeah. So Kruhk, he pokes up in like almost every comic that was coming out, like 01 to like 2010, like up to Legacy, like up to that last couple comics that were coming out right before Disney bought them. And he's just was the Jedi in the background for a while, and then he was the Jedi who was doing stuff in the Clone Wars, and then he just like later on, and then when they decided he was one of the few that like survived the Purge, then all of a sudden he like is a huge deal in Legacy, like he's that like old master sage, like somebody who actually remembers the golden age of the Jedi that you come to. But of course that means since he's from that era, he's also like a lot more judgmental, and he's a lot more like, he kind of has that a little bit of authoritarian thing that they were doing at that time. I'm just saying they were a little, they were a little my way or the highway at that point. But yeah, he's really cool, and seeing his interactions, especially like later on in life with Cade Skywalker and like stuff like that, and it's just he's a really interesting character, and I wish I had more for him, like because you've been breaking down like actual characters that I'm like, I got a big furry lightsaber.
I mean, he looks really badass.
He's a giant whippet. What's scarier than like a lightsaber coming at you, but if you attach that lightsaber to like a 7-foot furry thing with tusks?
Yeah.
Okay, jeez, here, take mine. I don't want to fight you.
I agree.
But yeah, that was Crook.
Sweet.
All right.
Now I will do a non-human.
All right. I think Andeddu might have been a non-human. I think this is, I'm not sure with Darth
Yeah,
Indedu.
he looks kind of like
Who was once a human.
super. Well, like you said, we don't know if that was his actual original body or not, but it looked very tall and very skinny.
It'd be so funny if it's like, wait, are you human? He's like, no, I actually took over a Gungan. It disintegrated a lot. Sorry. Like a completely different thing. You can't tell I'm a Wookiee? What the? Oh, it's really a little slimmed up.
Oh. Okay, so this character, Zinemarala. And I'm realizing, okay, she's not in any of those pictures. So Zeen is this Mickean girl.
Oh, I love that.
The pink Mickean girl. Yeah. And she is in mainly the High Republic Adventure series, which has now ended. Aww. And made me super sad because I loved her story. She was also in Race to Crash Point Tower, which is a middle grade novel. One issue of Trail of Shadows, which is a short run comic series. She's in Midnight Horizon, a young adult novel, and Edge of Balance Volume 2, a manga. So all High Republic, obviously. Mm-hmm. And honestly, out of these, the only two I've read are Race to Crash Point Tower and the High Republic Adventures series. So I'm really behind, and I can't wait to get more of her. So that is super, super exciting. She is Padawan Age in the High Republic Adventures series. And the cool thing about her is she is born amongst the nomadic elders of the path on Trimant 4. And the elders of the path hate force wielders.
Oh.
They abhor them. They think they're evil. And she happens to be force sensitive. So that's a problem. She the Nile attack. And what are you going to do if you're force sensitive and these evil people are attacking basically your family? Like, you're going to use the force.
Yeah.
And so she uses the force, and immediately her best friend is like, you've been lying to me. I hate you. Jeez. And it's awful. And her best friend Kruhk ends up joining the Nile and moving up through the ranks in the Nile to be almost side by side with Marchion Ro, who's the leader. And it's insane. Like, Zeen is going through all sorts of complicated issues, dealing with losing her best friend. And she is living with the Jedi. They take her in, but being the Jedi, are they going to train her?
Maybe. Probably not.
No. So they're like, you know what? You're force sensitive and you're a really good person, but sorry, you're too old. And so I can't believe she takes it really well. Really well. And she stays with them because she can be herself with them. So even though she's not able to train to be a Jedi, she's not able to have a lightsaber, she still feels like she's accepted. Whereas she couldn't be herself at all in that regard with the society she grew up in.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool story. And she another really cool part about it, and one of the reasons I'm really, really looking forward to reading the other thing she's in, is that her new best friend, who's a Jedi, Lula Talasola, so that is... Wait, wrong one. It's this one. So that is her. Lula is the human. And they are best friends. And they end up developing feelings for each other. And Lula seriously considers leaving the Jedi Order to be with Zeen.
Wow.
And I'm like, please do it. Like, just be with each other.
Screw the Jedi. Yeah.
Like, just be in love.
I want to just put up this hello from Ben. Hey, Ben. Yeah, happy Star Wars weekend.
Hey.
Yeah, we might be seeing Ben. I think we're seeing Ben tomorrow. Yeah.
Believe so.
But no, that's really awesome. Sorry, I can't figure out my freaking computer today. No, she sounds great, and I didn't know that High Republic did the whole freaking too old to begin the training thing. I mean, I know that High Republic is not the same as Old Republic because one's canon, one's Legends, and Old Republic's way further back. But that's one thing I did like about like that further back stuff, because it was in continuity that they came up with before the prequels came out. So a lot of the like rules of the Jedi weren't really like a thing yet. So just like any jerk could be like, "Hey, I can use the Force," and they're like, "What are you, 30? Come on!" Like oh, you've been a bounty hunter and killing people forever? You'll knock it. Come on! Like it was a lot more like you could swing a lightsaber, dude. We got Sith dealing with all the time. Like, come on, swing a lightsaber. Come on, join us. So I didn't realize that High Republic was still doing the same philosophy. See, I think it's all Yoda's fault because Yoda was like a big deal in High Republic too. I think that he just because he was so old. This is my conspiracy theory. I'm coming up with it right now because he was so old. He was ageist against single digit, or I mean, like teenagers. He just hated teenagers. And then unless you were not already indoctrinated and knowing exactly what he wants you to think, if he couldn't mold your teenage mind, he doesn't want you. That's it.
I mean,
that's my rule. That's what I'm going with.
Tell
me I'm wrong.
Yeah. There is one cool thing though about the Jedi and the High Republic that is very different. As Padawans, and I guess younglings to some extent, because younglings still can be like 13. They can have flings.
Okay.
Like flings are okay when you're younger.
Off my lawn, get off. And then Yoda's definitely a boomer. He's hanging out in the Jedi Academy with the broom, like, turn that down, that's not music.
I love that.
That was a bad Yoda impression. I was just doing an old man impression. That's great.
So yeah, there were times, and there was a genre of holo films that were Jedi romances.
Ooh.
So like it was a thing. Well, but they grew out of it.
That was also a huge thing in Old Republic is, you know how many like the two most powerful Jedi have a kid who's a powerful Jedi? Like that was a thing, a huge thing in the Old Republic. Like Satele Shan and like was the daughter, great granddaughter of freaking, or is it Bastila? No, yeah, Satele Shan was like Bastila Shan and freaking Darth Revan's daughter, or great granddaughter or whatever. Like, no, they just constantly did like Jedi eugenics. Like, they're like, no, if we could turn that Sith good for like 2 nights, somebody have a super powerful baby with them. Like, they constantly were doing that. Like seriously, a lightsaber fight is like one good smile away from making out in the Old Republic. Like, you'd be fighting and all of a sudden they're like, well, our lightsabers are kind of close. What's up? Like just whoop. That's what they did. I think it was also not that I want to get into like Jedi romances, but there were the few exceptions even in Yoda's time where Ki-Adi-Mundi was allowed to have multiple
Oh
wives.
yeah.
Not one wife, multiple.
Yeah.
Need I remind you, everyone else has to be celibate. I would hate that. I'm like, okay, I haven't kissed a girl and he gets multiple wives. Can we kick Ki-Adi-Mundi out? I don't like him. Like, I would hate that guy. Like, I'm not even allowed to get a freaking like a nudie mag, and this guy's got freaking 4 wives at home. What is this? I'd get pretty mad.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. I wouldn't make it as a Jedi anyways. Everybody knows. I don't think I'd go Sith because I'm not evil, but I have such a problem with authority. I would definitely be like Dark Jedi. You know? I wouldn't go full, like, full unlimited power. But I definitely wouldn't drink the Jedi Kool-Aid.
Oh, no.
No. There's no way.
I mean, the Jedi code in itself is
super messed up.
Just not... it gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
Like, the Sith code is like, yes.
Well, and there's not even... A lot of Sith weren't they weren't all evil. Yeah. Like they were bad. Like, I'm not saying they were good, but they weren't all like torturers and vicious and serial killers. Like, they were just, they got power that way. This is how you rise, and you have to be cutthroat. They were more Machiavellian than Jack the Ripper. They were, and that's one cool thing I actually like about them. Like, they're sadistic. That's the word I'm looking for. Is somebody corrected me? But yeah, they weren't all sadistic. They were like, well, some of course were, but a lot of them were just like hard-nosed warriors who knew this is how we're going to get it done, and to weed out the weak. So, they were more like nihilists. Yeah. With really cool powers and sorcery. I'm down. But yeah. Okay, you got anything else about her?
That is
her name's Zeen, right?
Zinemarala.
Yeah, I love that species. Is it Mikian? Mikian. I love. The first time you ever see that species was the 2 in Clone Wars.
Tiplar and Tipley.
Yeah, and they're all hair. Yes, no, it's very, there you go, very anti-living.
It is! Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah. Oh, you want to get a beer? It's against the code. Okay, I'm going to watch some TV. Better be rated E for everyone. We don't do that stuff. It's Medusa hair without the snake heads. They're not living. They're just like flowing. Their hair looks like they're in water at all times.
Yeah, that's a good description.
It's really like, it's always like flowing, like it's buoyant in water. It's weird stuff. Kind of tentacle hair. I don't think they can control their hair though. I think their hair just kind of moves around. Yeah, so not as much. Well, why keep explaining it? I guess it's hard to see in the actual picture. But yeah, her hair's kind of like up doing its own thing. But I guess the other chick's hair is too, so that doesn't help. She just has it combed. It's not her fault. All right. I think I'm going to save my other Jedi for last, and I think I'm going to get back to the dark side. Is that okay with you?
Sounds good.
And I also I want to just show the difference. Like, you have, your queer Jedi channel, and you have a lot of, or queer Star Wars characters, and you have a lot of like LGBTQ characters, and all my characters are just evil. Just like, and this person blew up a planet. You can really tell who we are as people, because my next is a giant Tyrannosaurus lizard man / Sith.
Love it.
Desann. So let me see what's sorry, I cared. But yeah, so let's talk about Desann. So Desann was actually Luke Skywalker's failed apprentice. Why Luke Skywalker chose a Tyrannosaurus, I don't know. So this is my one character, or one of the very few. He's only been in one thing, so he's mentioned in Jedi Academy, but in Jedi Outcast, Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, that's the only thing that he actually straight up appears in. And then he's just mentioned in the second one because he dies. But like, yeah, so Desann is a failed apprentice of Luke Skywalker, who then joins the regiments of the Empire. I think this is around like 9 or 10 ABY in Legends continuity. So around the same time that we'd be seeing like the Boba Fett like show and the Mandalorian show, but in Legends continuity. So yeah, giant. He's super huge. He has my favorite freaking lightsaber ever, which let me show you. He's got this, which I know I brought up during our lightsaber show, but it's the lightsaber that you do not need to ignite to kill somebody.
Yeah.
And I want to know if he had this as a Jedi. I want to know.
Right? That's a good question.
If everyone else is making their cool little lightsabers and he's like forging this mace. How many spikes do you have on yours? None, Desann. What the heck? Yes, you're right. Being friends with the dinosaurs, one of the few things that is not against the Jedi. Oh, that's perfect. Surprise! Like after that, they're probably like, "And no dinosaurs." Done. We had the one, and not even Luke could train him. But yeah. So his whole story in Jedi Outcast. If you've never played Jedi Outcast, it's hard to play now, but it's easy to watch. The cutscenes aren't super bad. Like, you know, the graphics are bad, but they're not like, I mean, they're old, but they're not like horrible. Mm-hmm. So you can actually get through it quite a bit. And this whole story is Kyle Katarn is the main character, and it's Kyle Katarn struggling with whether or not he wants to become a Jedi or not. And then he kind of stops being one for a little while. He's kind of like pen pals with Luke, but he keeps giving Luke like the cold shoulder. He's like, I don't wanna. And then he runs into Desann, who then, like, he's not a Jedi. He doesn't have his lightsaber. Desann just beats the crap out of him, then kidnaps his lady, and it brings Kyle Katarn back out of, Jedi retirement. Has to relearn everything again and then go after him. Desann goes into a dark side nexus and gets extremely powerful, and and Kyle Katarn takes him out. So he doesn't have like a lot of the other characters we've all been talking about have either really interesting, really long, in-depth stories. He's a lot shorter, but I mean, I think I love the fact that he's a failed Luke apprentice. I also love his design, of course, his lightsaber design, and I don't know. Desann has always like struck me as a character that if I started doing like versus battles again, like versus shows, I would definitely do Desann because I just find him so, I don't know. He's such like a stereotypical meathead Sith beast. And he's also in the games, he is rather, he's kind of has this posh, deep voice, like, no, Kyle Katarn, da, da, da. Like, and he's not like very bestial. He is actually very sophisticated, and that's my bad. Awesome. Well, there's this great. You can watch the cutscene of his like last fight, and he's talking to this Imperial whatever admiral like guy. And the dude's supposed to be giving him air support. And he's like, oh, you think you're going to fight me? I'm going to blow up this whole planet. And he's like, he's like, General Fayad. And then Kyle's like, he ain't going to answer, Desann. Killed him already. What? And it's just really funny because you got like this dinosaur with like this like very like nice posture and just, hey, can we blow up the planet? And then you have this Kyle Katarn like, no, Desann. Like, I don't know. It's a funny cutscene. It's hard to describe. The voice acting was very like early 2000s. So you're not sure if all the words were recorded in the same sitting, you know, like. But yeah, that's my Desann. So definitely not a lot on him, but I love him. I think he's a cool, very interesting for just being in one video game.
His lightsaber is also gigantic.
Mm-hmm. That is
what is up
that
with
is
that?
A great saber. So yeah, he's got huge beam.
That is insane.
It's so scary to think of like, wait, you have to lightsaber fight against somebody?
I'd be like, oh!
Jesus Christ. No wonder why Kyle Katarn has such a huge lightsaber. He's like, dude, I had to fight Desann, okay? I had to get a real lightsaber. I'm messing around with this stuff.
Yeah.
You think if you fought like that, if you were like 8 feet tall with a gigantic lightsaber, and then you fought like a dude who's like Mikeshi and he like does like a fencing thing, you're like, dude, I'm gonna eat through you, buddy. Parry this. Good luck.
Yeah.
Ask Dooku how that went against Anakin. But anyways, that's some lightsaber style jokes for you. All right. We got one person each now.
Yes. Okay. So I did not realize I had so many humans on this, but
I didn't notice until after I started looking at it. I'm like, I'm glad I got like I have Desann and Kruhk.
Yeah. I'm always a proponent of having like as many, you know, alien characters as possible, but oh well. So my last character is Magna Tolvan.
Oh. Wait, is this another LGBTQ character?
They're all my favorites.
If you love it so much, why don't you make a YouTube channel for them?
I know, right? So she is amazing. She starts out as an Imperial, and she's very staunch, very disciplined. Her favorite thing is I'll go to this one. Her favorite exclamation is sloppy. So he doesn't like it when people are sloppy, when people aren't following discipline and orders. And it's funny because Dr. Aphra, who is fairly well known character, she
you technically could have covered her, but because I don't think she's been in a show or a movie, but I'm glad you didn't because she is rather well known. Yeah.
Right. So Tolvan is in the first Dr. Aphra series, which takes place between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. And she starts off, you think, oh, she's just another Imperial. Like, great, they added another Imperial. This is awesome. But she ends up being a main character, so it works out. And I love her because it's so funny how goo goo gaga she gets around Aphra. She like doesn't know what to do with herself, and she keeps getting in trouble because of it. And at one point, like, she's effed up too many times, and she is in front of a firing squad.
Oh my god.
Because she has 3 strikes and you're out. So she is standing in front of a firing squad, and even in that situation, she says, "You straighten that back, you abhorrent little smear of bantha dung. And is that a stain on your shin guard in the middle? Report to the quartermaster at end of shift. Sloppy, I call it." So she's just like, that's who she is. Like, it doesn't even matter. She's about to die.
Great.
But
that's awesome.
Yeah, but then she gets called away because someone in the higher up decided to move her to a higher position. And all of this crazy stuff happens. She ends up getting gulleted, or actually Bor Ifrian was the name of the Myron? Is that what species Bor Gullet is?
I don't know who Bor Gullet is.
Rogue One.
I don't know who Bor Gullet is.
The big tentacle thing?
No, I don't know what the name of that species is.
Okay, so the big tentacle thing that Saw Gerrera sicked on Bodhi Rook that had like the tentacles in his head.
I remember the scene. I don't know what the name of that is.
So that it's a Marin. So that is the name of the species, but Bor Ifriam is the name of the boar that Aphra made sure that Magna Tolvan thought that she killed Aphra and thinks she's dead and ends up joining the rebels. And she still is like strict and disciplined and ordered and all that as a rebel.
Well, good.
But so she's still herself. But she joins the rebels. And then, like, Aphra shows up, and she's just like, you lied to me. And you, like, made this Myron change my memories.
Jesus.
You sucked memories out of my head and replaced them with other ones because you're selfish. And it was, I mean, I don't cry often with, I lie. I cry all the time when it comes to like books and comics, but I definitely cried. I was like boo-hooing. I was just like, this is so sad.
There's no shame in crying over a comic. I've cried over it. I also read The Walking Dead as it was coming out, and so I cried a lot during that. Whenever I'm like, they're killing that character. Like, but I've definitely cried over comics. I've never cried over a Star Wars comic. I've cried over a Star Wars, but not a Star Wars comic.
Yeah. Oh, there's one more thing. So notice she has a metal cast.
Okay, I was gonna ask. So what's going on with like her gambit look?
So we don't know. We're never told, but it is said that there is a point. Let me see if I can find it here. Okay, so at one point, Admiral Ozzel makes the comment, the mess she made with security on Edu. And so I'm like, wait a second. Was she responsible for security on Edu when the rebels came in Rogue One and blew it all up?
Oh.
And then in the process, she got mangled.
That's why she looks like that?
And that's why she has a metal cast on her neck and sides of her face.
Yeah, but then would she join the rebels then? Like, if the rebels blew you up, I mean...
Well...
Also, I like this. Yes, Walking Dead is emotional terrorism, and I did pay the price. I read him too much, too fast. I, got caught up. Sorry, here's a quick Walking Dead, but I read, 40 issues in, 3 or 4 days. I just was going through them.
Wow, yeah.
And because I bought... There was a buy two, get one free... Black Friday deal at my comic book shop, and I've never read any Walking Deads, and it was the little ones, not the compendiums, but it was the little ones, and I bought, it was 7 trade paperbacks, all at once, and I think, I was somewhere in the 70s when I started reading it. I started reading 70s or 80s when I started buying them monthly, so I read all of those, that.
Wow.
And it completely changed my demeanor. It gave me nightmares. I was having nightmares. It made me just a darker person. My wife noticed a shift in me because I just inhaled all that darkness so quickly. And then after that, when people were like, hey, you have all the Walking Dead comics, can I read them? I was like, I'm going to give you one book at a time. I'm not going to let you do what I did. I will give you one trade paperback, and you read it, and you wait a little bit, and you digest it. I'll give you another trade paperback. You're just not supposed to experience that much horrificness. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Goodness. That sounds rough.
Yeah, I canceled that book. I think I canceled it right before it ended. I never finished it. But after a certain character died, I couldn't keep reading. So, yeah. I'm not going to give away who it is. But yeah. Anyways, that was my let's talk about Walking Dead moment. So you're talking about a character, chick with metal, and she made out with Afra? I mean, if not to be that guy, but if I were to, switch sides for anybody. Oh, wait, that's the wrong thing. If I were to switch sides for anybody, it would be Dr. Afra. Like, look, come on.
Yeah.
I do like that the way you did this, it implies that making out made her a rebel.
Well, it was falling in love with her falling in love with Afra that kind of started the wheels turning with like reconsidering how she felt about the way the world was going.
Yeah, okay.
So
I didn't read enough into Afra series. Like, I know you have. I know you. I know your relationship with Afra is a lot deeper than mine. I just remember her starting off as a bad guy with the bad droids, and
yeah,
does that she switches up and kind of becomes a lot more of a sympathetic character later on, I'm assuming. Because
there is one instance where Afra does something that really grinds my gears. And that is when she makes this new character that she takes on as kind of a mentee, makes her leave her pet behind. And that like broke my heart. I was like, Afra, why?
Jedi would probably make you kill your pet or something psycho like that.
But the way I see Afra is this. She deeply cares about the people that mean something to her. But if you don't mean something to her,
whatever.
You're good luck.
Yeah. All right. Kind of, all right. It kind of fits Imperials.
Yeah, because at the end of the first Dr. Afra run in the Empire Ascendant comic that had like the endings of all the different series, she purposefully, so Magna, Tolvan, and the young girl I was just talking about.
Like love is a radical act. Yeah, sorry, keep going.
Yeah. So Tolvan and the young girl, they're both with the rebellion. They're on Hoth, and Afra purposefully misdirects Vader away from Hoth so that the rebels have time.
Oh wow.
And she does that, and she even like sends a message to Magna Tolvan. I almost said Tolfra because that's what I call them. So she sends a message to Tolvan that basically says like, I'm out of here for good. You'll never see me again, but that's the best situation for you because I want to protect you. So I'm leaving.
Okay, so she's done a lot of good, but she's still kind of a selfish jerk.
Yes.
Is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. I can get behind that. My character who I really love, who I'm about to talk about, who's probably like the only one out of these characters that I would like say like I really love this character. Like probably my favorite out of this category of like the not in movies or TV, like this character's probably like my favorite written character. And he's also a complete piece of crap. So not like evil, but he definitely does something evil. But yeah, do you got anything else with her? Or can I move on?
No, you're good.
All right, you got one of these.
No.
All right, let's talk about Lucien Draay is one of my favorite characters of all time. Another person who I know I've used them in a versus battle back when we were doing them earlier in this show's run. We did a couple of these, and I did use him in a fight. So Lucien Draay is awesome. So gigantic. He does look like if Hitler could make a Star Wars character. Like he's very ornate and he's blonde hair and blue eyes and just massive. But his whole thing was, so I have blind Lucien Draay up top, so just ignore that. So look at the other ones. He's got this really ornate armor, really ornate robe, and his lightsaber, I wish I had a picture of, is also very like simple yet very gaudy, very cool looking. He's a Shicho practitioner, and his whole story, so he's part of the Knights of the Old Republic comic book, so not the video game storyline, but a completely different storyline. So his story is Zeen Kruhk, who's the guy who is cowering in front of him, who's about to get hit with his lightsaber. So Zeen was his apprentice. And the Jedi Watch Circle was a Jedi group of all seers, except for Lucien Draay. Even though his mom was Mrala, who could, like, that's their whole thing, is that they're seers. He was born without that. So he had, his eyes weren't gone like Mrala. He actually had eyes. And he didn't have any of the seeing. So he became their, like, muscle, their bodyguard, their bouncer, their enforcer. So he is part of the Jedi Watch Circle on Terrace with on his like family's estate. They make this big Jedi tower, and their whole thing is that they get together and they look into the future and kind of get ready for the Sith's return, because it was like a couple years after Exar Kun. Revan and Malak haven't happened yet, so they're just kind of like waiting for it. They're all about preventing the Sith. So this Jedi, they are so clouded in their mission to prevent the Sith that it starts making them make bad decisions. So one day, the day before all of their Padawan are all going to take the trials, so it's like this really big, cool day. They meditate the day before, and they find out that one of them is evil, that one of the apprentices will be the Sith, will bring them all back. So they decide, it was like a couple days before, so they decide during the ceremony to slaughter all of their Padawans. So they just straight up massacre all of their apprentices. So Zeen Kruhk is late because he's just like a doofus and he just shows up late. And that's like his home thing. Like, he like missed the bus. Like it's very like, Marty McFly's it and gets there a little late and sees all of the apprentices dead and all of their masters standing over them with lightsabers and his master looking at him with his lightsaber, and he goes, and then leaves. So Lucien... I'm going to now do long story short, but that setup's really important. Lucien then hunts Zeen for a large amount of the comic. About 3/4 through, you start to see Lucien's backstory. And you start to see how sympathetic he is of him not getting his mother's powers and him being treated like a lesser person. And all of this stuff, and why he then takes these drastic measures for kind of like mommy issues too. Like he's really for all this stuff. And also his dad died in the Sith Wars, so it's like a whole other reason why he really doesn't want the Sith to come back. And it turns out after all of that his Jedi master named, I'm going to get his name wrong, is it Hassan? Hazen. His Jedi master Hazen was actually manipulating all of it because he wants to, like, he gets all these Sith artifacts and gets all freaking evil. So even though Lucien's about to kill Zane Carrick, he then starts to flip and takes out the bad guy at the end, and actually calls an airstrike down on the Terrace Jedi, like on the Draay estate. He calls an airstrike to blow up the entire estate as he Jedi force pushes like Zane and another character across town. So people who are watching thought that they were flying, like they took flight. So he blows them away and then takes the airstrike to make sure that Hazen dies. And afterwards, that's why his eyes are all messed up. And ironically, he then joins the Jedi Covenant, is what they called like their little Jedi Watch Circle, is a Jedi Covenant. He then actually makes a Jedi Covenant because now without his eyes, it awakened his seeing power. And he can finally do what they wanted to do, but for good. And he completely is a changed man. And that's like the last shot of the comic is that shot of him like by himself in peace without his eyes with his staff. And I love that character arc for him. And yeah. And there's this great, I almost showed it, but there's this great picture of him using like Hazen's red lightsaber. And he's just so like full of rage. And it just shows how deep he goes before he comes like right back. And I love Lucien Draay. He's got a lot of evil to him, but he really does come back from it and realizes how bad it was. That doesn't mean that killing your Padawans is okay.
It's not okay.
Not okay. But yeah, we're both getting ahs here. Yeah, we're. But yeah, so that's my final guy is Lucien Draay. I love him. Also, Shi-Cho Master, just like Kit Fisto. He's the two who just stuck with Form 1. Used it a little different because he's a lot more strength-based than Kit Fisto. Because, look at that beast. Just a beast of a man. But,
yeah.
There you go. That's Lucien Draay. What do you think?
Sounds like a very complex character.
Yeah. And out of all the ones that I have, none of mine have really been that complex. So I'm glad I got one complex character. It's like, this guy's like Yoda, but tall and hairy. All right, who you got? This guy's really evil. Okay, who do you got? Like, I'm glad I got one complex person.
No, I liked your choices. They were really interesting.
I tried to go like the really like kind of extremes that Star Wars can do, and I don't know.
Yeah,
I like all of them, and but of course I always look at it from a Jedi or from a lightsaber fighting perspective, because it's kind of like what I love about Star Wars is lightsabers and combat. I'm such a simple person. You're like these amazing characters, and I'm like, these guys hit each other with lights. Like that's all I care about. But yeah, I do. If you want to read a free comic, because all the old Legends comics were uploaded all for free. If you want to read, his is the Knights of the Old Republic comic, and I don't think it will say how long it goes. I want to say it's only like 40. Yeah, I think it's just about 40 issues. I couldn't read it. I tried, but I don't think it's uber long, and it is a really cool read, and it's very old school Star Warsy with like, you got Zane Carrick, so the Jedi on the run, but he gets like his weird alien counterpart who's also kind of like a slimo scumbag, and then he gets his little motley crew, and then they hide from these really evil Jedi. And also, when you want to talk about Jedi hypocrisy and Jedi doctrine gone wrong, like that's the biggest example of preventing evil by slaughtering innocent younglings. Like,
that's
or apprentices.
That's rough.
It's pretty rough. That's how the book starts, by the way. It's the first issue.
Goodness.
It's the first issue is literally him like, "Hey guys, I'm late. Hey, okay." Yeah. And then he walks in, it's like, "What?" And it's like, "There you go. First issue." Oh my god. Like,
wow.
If that doesn't hook you, I don't know. And then they do a lot of, backstory after that, but it's a really cool book. So yeah, highly recommended if you want to read something old school. But
yeah,
not super old school, not like 70s old school, but old school.
Cool.
Yeah. Do you want to call it? Was that good?
Yeah.
All right. There. 10 characters, 10 lesser known characters.
Woo.
Love it. I did put in the description every character. So if you wanted to cheat and look at the description before, you would have seen who we were gonna put out. So but yeah, so if any of these characters excited you, check out any of these extended universe things, either extended canon or legends. All of it's good. Mm-hmm. If you want to watch an old video game playthrough, it's good. It's like 30 minutes. Back when video game playthroughs were only 30 minutes. But yeah. Any closing thoughts? Like and subscribe if you haven't. We will both be hanging out on Northern Entertainment Group tomorrow at 8:00.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
I think they got to me just to get to you. I really feel like if I said I was busy and I can't make it, they would not care.
No.
We got Marie. It's fine. I also can't wait to see how different we voted.
I know I was telling my coworker, I was telling Jordan, so big bearded guy.
Yeah, I remember.
I was telling him about how I rated things, and he was just like, "Why?
Yeah, no, I'm with him.
It's like, because they're awesome.
I don't think I went beyond 7 stars for anything but one movie, for one. And I think I didn't go above 5 for the majority of the movie.
I think I rated 4 of them a 10.
Yeah, wow. I think I put Empire at either 10 or 9, and then like 7s, and then some 3s, some 1s.
Oh, God.
I got 1 in there. I'm sure you couldn't rise up to the Skywalker to guess it.
Oh, my gosh. Look at my shirt.
I know. I'm wearing a Beavis by Head shirt. I'm not even representing Star Wars. I do love how we are such opposite when it comes to our fandoms, like how we are a fan, and that's of course we've talked about it 1,000 times, but that's what I love about Star Wars. It's how me and you are so different when we come to how we love Star Wars, but we both love Star Wars, and that's what's
exactly
important. But
I think
so anyways, yeah, that's super cool. Okay, you tell them what you got going on, and then I'll tell them about what I got going on.
Yeah, so Afra's Artifacts on Monday will be a review of Dr. Aphra number 20. So I'm excited about that. And it will release at 6 p.m. Central, as always, on Monday on YouTube. So, and then my reviews, man, I'm doing what I can, but I have been so busy that it's just like real sporadic, but I try to put out at least 1 a week, if not 2 a week. So on the StarWarsReview.blogspot.com.
All right. Nice. We'll be here next week.
Yes.
I want to say June 3rd is the 30th episode of Let's Talk About Star Wars, and we are covering planet ecosystems. I know that doesn't sound super fun, but we actually have 2 ecologists that will be on. So Marie over here is an ecologist, and she went to school for that, and so did my friend Nerve Herder, who we've had on quite a few times now. He's also a bearded guy. I have a bearded guy too, Marie. And my bearded guy is also in school for ecology. So I would love to just sit back and hear smarter than me people talk about how certain planets are. And I'm pumped. Plus, I get to look up really cool pictures for them. But yeah,
it's gonna be so cool. I'm super excited.
I'm super excited too. And yeah, so that's on the 3rd, and then on June 11th, we are doing our next Geek Gauntlet, and we are doing demigod level. So it's all going to be a lot more powerful characters. I don't think I've told you the roster yet. I can, but I have it now. I think I did all my play testing. There's a character who keeps winning, but I just don't know what I'm supposed to do about it. Yeah. I don't think it's because they're super broken. I think they're just slightly better than a lot of people, but he hasn't won all of them, but he's won most.
Okay.
But anyways, I can tell you about that, and I hope you're going to be there. This is our first Saturday, June 11th. And also, I'm working on my other stuff, on my scripted stuff. So I've been promising my Wire Season 1 review, and that will be coming out soon. I'm also kind of working on a different thing, which I hope I can get going on soon. And if you haven't seen my Wayne's World analysis, please check that out. I worked really hard on it. I'm really proud of it, and it's really awesome. And that's it. Follow me on Twitter, Mark Taco Face, and her at Aliga Morgan. I screwed it up.
Alia Morgan.
Alia. I added a G. Aliga. Are you Aliga? Alia Morgan. I wanted to, because I hear it all the time. I thought I could just do both. All right. You got anything else, or you want to get out of here?
I think I'm good.
All right. You guys, thanks for watching, and see ya.
Bye.